Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Spark. I'm Coach David, your mental performance mastery coach. Hope you're doing great on today and hope that everything is moving in the right direction for you, that your life is being exactly what you want it to be. And the way that happens is that, as you know, you're the architect of your life. So that means you get to design, to develop, to create, and build the life that you want, and then you get to live it. So that's a great thing. Listen, on today, I want to talk to you how to perform without certainty. In other words, how do you get it done when you're unsure? How do you get it done when you're uncertain? Now, listen to me. I got to share this with you right up front. How much of your life right now is on hold because you're waiting to feel certain about something? You're waiting for that certainty. You know how it is. We want to know if this is all going to work out. So if you're waiting to feel confident, how much of your life is on hold, waiting for the opinions of others, even to get on board with you and to say, hey, yeah, you're moving in the right direction? How much of your life is on hold because of that uncertainty? Well, here's something I want you to think about. Life rarely, if ever, gives you certainty of all the certainty that you need. What happens most of the time in life, life requires you to take action. Life requires you to move. And as you begin to do that, you've heard me say it, you get more on your way than when you first started. So the question is, how much of your life are you holding on to or hindering or holding back on, trying to wait for that uncertain part to clear up, to, you to get more proof, more evidence, if you will. So I want to talk to you about that today. I want to help you, and I know I can. So we're going to talk about three key things, and then in the end, we're going to kind of wrap it up. I'm going to give it to you, and then you're going to be able to go and move forward in action. Let's jump in. Number one, uncertainty in your life is not a stop sign. In other words, uncertainty is not saying, hey, you need to stop. Hey, something is going wrong. This is not working. That's not what uncertainty is. It means that your outcome, the end result, the whatever it is that you're working towards, it just means that it hasn't been determined yet. You don't know it. That's what all uncertainty is. You're unsure, uncertain of it. And here's the problem. What you have to do a lot of times, you got to work with your mind, because what your mind wants to do, your mind wants to tell you that when things are uncertain, when you're the unknown, your mind will, boy, it'll create all kind of stories for you. And I've talked to you about that before, that usually that first thought that comes to your mind, you got to challenge it. So here's what I'm going to share with you on today. You got to separate the unknown from dangerous, because what your mind will tell you a lot of times is this is dangerous. I said it before. Your mind will go straight to the negative. Oh boy, don't do that because this could happen. Oh boy, I remember when this. And not only that, your mind will create stories for you and show you living examples of what could happen to you. See, this is what I've learned about my mind, your mind, our mind, is the mind likes to predict what's going to occur without evidence. It wants to do that. And what it's trying to do is trying to preserve you or trying to protect you. But you have to ask yourself a few questions. Number one, do I have evidence that what I'm thinking or what I'm looking at or what I'm uncertain about that is truly dangerous? Or am I just uncomfortable with the unknown? See, a lot of times you have to get comfortable not knowing some things in order to move forward. But when you do that, things begin to open up to you. So here's what I want you to do. Stop demanding guarantees of yourself. Stop demanding guarantees. Because here's the truth of the matter. Most of life, the decisions you'll make, the choices you'll make, they don't come with a guarantee. However, you're going to have to move forward if you're going to see any tangible results. Don't allow the uncertainty to say, hey, look, you're not guaranteed that this is going to be successful. You're not guaranteed that this is going to work. Well, listen, That's the truth. You're not guaranteed of it. However, I can guarantee you this: if you take no action because of uncertainty, if you stay where you're at because of uncertainty, I can guarantee you this: you won't see anything. And I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that sometimes that you're going to do things and it's not going to work. Well, listen, that's fine, because here's what I understand. I'm learning now, I'm understanding that this doesn't work this way, but it might work another way. I got to tell you, courage is not believing that nothing will go wrong. That's not courage. Courage says this right here. Courage says something could go wrong, but because of my preparation, because I understand that I'm well able, I can adjust, I can get it right, I'm well prepared, and I can handle it. Listen, you don't need a guarantee. What you need is your next responsible step. That's all you need. You don't need a guarantee. You just need to make a decision and get started. Because the truth of the matter, if you're holding back because of uncertainty, if you're staying there because of uncertainty, you're going to be there a long time. In the Bible, there's a book called Ecclesiastes, and in chapter 11, it talks about that the person who looks at the wind, they won't sow seed. And person who looks at the clouds, they won't go for the harvest. In other words, what that scripture is telling you is that if you are into overthinking and overanalyzing, you're not going to get anything accomplished. You have to make the next decision, and then you have to take the next step, and then you got to just keep moving forward. And I promise you that you are going to get the information you need as you go. A lot of times, this is what happens to us, is that we get overwhelmed. So this leads me to my next point. You can control the next decision, but how you control it is very, very important. Listen, a lot of times what happens, we feel overwhelmed. You ever felt like that before? You're like, oh my God, this is so much. Here's the challenge when you feel overwhelmed. What's going on the inside of you? What you're doing, you're trying to solve everything or all of this or too much of this all at once. So what I encourage you to do is shrink that decision down. What do you mean? Well, let me see if I can paint an example. A lot of times people go into a venture or go into something and they say, will I succeed? Well, that's much too large because there's so many steps and so many different facets to it. That's much too large. What you need to do is say, what can I work on today? See, that speaks to action. What can I work on today that could lead to my future success? I can't look at this whole thing and say, okay, am I going to be successful? There's too many working pieces, and my mind becomes overwhelmed. And what will happen then, because of the uncertainty that comes with that, I won't do anything. I talked about that last week. You get to that point where you get an analysis paralysis, where you're just hung up. You have to understand that, hey, I am going to control this next decision, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to shrink that decision down to one action step. Imagine the student that goes into the first grade asking the question, am I going to graduate? Well, look, you're 12 years away from your graduation. There's a lot of different things that can go on there. That's much too large, and you will become overwhelmed. But what the student can ask is, what do I need to do in this class right here to be successful? Just what do I need to do today? I have something what I call what's important now. Win. This is how you win. What's important now? Well, okay. Well, today what's important is that I get to class, I be there on time, I'm attentive, I take notes, I study the notes. That's what's important right now. I can't be worried about the test next week right now. Why? Because I'm not there. Now, do I need to prepare? That's right. You do need to prepare, and preparation will get you through. See, what we got to do, we got to learn how to shrink this down. I'm going to give you a real good example. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now imagine I am going to take a trip and my final destination is Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia is almost 250 miles away from Charlotte, some 3 hours and 45 minutes away. Now, Imagine if I get in there and I sit in the car and I'll be like, oh man, it goes so far. Oh man, 250 miles. Oh man, 3 hours and 45 minutes. This is just so overwhelming. This is just too much. How am I going to do this? See, that's what we do in life a lot of times. We look at the final destination and we're overwhelmed. So this is what I do. I get in the car, I set the GPS. Okay, it says Gastonia, North Carolina is 15 miles away from Charlotte. Well, I can handle that. I believe I can get to Gastonia. So what I do, I get to Gastonia. I travel the 15 miles. It may take me 20, 30 minutes. I travel, I get there, and now I say, okay, I have some success. I've gotten to Gastonia. What's next? I got to Gastonia safely. I got to Gastonia in a timely manner. See, I don't need the whole map. I don't need to be looking at the final destination. All I need is the next step. And I am going to encourage you. All you need is the next step. Then, once you get that, always, here's another point, return to what you can control. We talk about this all the time. You cannot control the O's. What? What are you talking about, David? The O's. You cannot control other people's opinions. You can't control the opportunities. You cannot control the outcomes. But what you can control, your preparation, your effort, your discipline, your communication, your attitude, your actions, that's what you're in control of. So you can control the things that you can control, and all that other stuff will take care of itself. Now, did I say every outcome was going to come out the way you want? No, I didn't say that. But what I did say is that your power is in controlling the things that you can control, so that you don't get overwhelmed and you'd be like, oh no, this is me. This is just too much. This is just too much. How many times have you heard people say that? This is just too much. I can't do this. This is just too much. One step at a time. One step at a time. One step at a time. And before you know it, you'll be at your destination. So now we talked about that. We talked about, hey, look, control the next decision. But with the next decision, when you control it, you got to take action, because action builds the confidence you're waiting for. You remember, we started this back with you're uncertain. You need confidence. Well, guess what? When you start action, you get your confidence. What do you mean? Because you begin to see results. See, when I sit here and I overthink and I get all wrapped up in my mind, only thing I'm producing is possibilities. This could happen, this could happen, both good and bad. This could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. No. But when I start into action, I begin to get information. What do you mean? You start your action, things start happening. Now I'm getting the information. Now I'm gaining the confidence that I need. So I'm going to encourage you, make the call. Whatever is holding you back, I'm talking to somebody today. Make the call. Submit the application. Just do it. Stop waiting to feel ready. You are ready right now. Readiness is not a feeling. Hear me on this. Readiness is not a feeling. Readiness is saying, I'm going to begin with what I have and I'm going to work to improve it. That's what readiness is. So I'm ready right now because I have exactly enough right now to get started. And one of my mentors used to always say this, and I loved it. He said, listen, David, if you started this morning at 9 o'clock, you've come too far to turn back now. So let's go. Let's get it done. So let me begin to wrap this up now, because I've talked to you about uncertainty is not a stop sign. I said all you got to do is control your next decision. And I said action will bring the confidence, the certainty that you're looking for. Let me see if I can give you some practical steps that will go with that. I'm going to give you 4 easy practical steps, and then I'm going to get out of here. All right. So we said I need to control the next decision, because that's going to mean I'm going to take action. So I'm going to use the word next, N-E-X-T, to give you something to unhinge yourself from uncertainty. Did you hear what I said? I'm going to unhinge you from uncertainty. Here's the N. The N means this right here. Name the uncertainty. Whatever it is. It's what I don't know. It's what I'm unsure of. It might even be what I'm scared of, but I got to name it and I've got to be specific because there's something about when you open up and you just name it and say, this is it right here. This is it. There's something about that that happens to you when you are able to do that. You become very bold. The E is, okay, now I need to look at this. Now that I've named it, I need to establish exactly what I can control. That's the E. Establish what you can control. That's your point of reference. This is what I know I can control. I've identified what the uncertainty is, and now guess what? I know what I can control. So I'm going to establish that and make that my point of reference. Here's the X. The X is execute one responsible action. Don't wait. What are you waiting for? Do it. Let's get it done. Execute one responsible action. It might be making a phone call. It might be reaching out to somebody for help. It might be submitting that application. It might be you getting in there and saying, you know what, I'm going to determine an answer. Execute one responsible step today. Don't wait. What are you waiting for? Let's go. Now, the T means this right here. Now that I've executed that step, I'm going to take in the feedback. That's the T. I'm going to take in. Why? Because when I took action, it creates some feedback. Then that feedback's going to create some adjustments. And when I make those adjustments, I'm going to find my progress. I'm going to find myself moving forward. So I'm going to wrap it up by asking you a simple question. Are you preparing or are you hiding from uncertainty? Yeah, which one? Are you preparing or are you hiding from uncertainty? Well, I'm going to put a challenge out before you. Within the next 24 hours, identify one decision that you have been delaying. And then I want you to take the next that I gave you, the next decision to unhinge you from uncertainty, that N, that E, that X, that T, and I want you to apply it. Apply next to that. Whatever it is, apply next to it. And stop waiting for certainty from life. Stop waiting for that. Start demanding courage to take your next step, and you're going to see some great and wonderful things happen. Listen, it has been fantastic for me to share this with you on today. I hope it has helped you, and I hope that you will share it with somebody else. But remember this right here. Remember this. You are the architect of your life. I'm Coach David. I believe in you. I believe in you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.